After 2 years of intensive preparation, challenged by logistical problems and faced with numerous difficulties in finding adequate transportation and sufficient funding, the 1994 Peter I expedition team left for the Falklands beginning January. The team flew with a plane from the Royal Air Force over Asunción in the mid-Atlantic to the Falklands. The team of 9 expeditioners had only one common goal: 3 weeks of scientific research and radioamateur contacts on Peter I, an Antarctic island administered by Norway, and rightfully called the most isolated place on Earth. While waiting for the chartered Russian icebreaker who would bring them to Peter I, the team had a relaxed week enjoying the Falklanders' hospitality, making already 6,000 radioamateur contacts and exploring the fascinating nature of the islands. On January 23rd, a cold, rainy and windy day, the Kapitan Klepnikov arrived. Although well over 10 tons of expedition material was already loaded weeks ago in the ports of Bremerhaven and Montevideo, the team members brought quite some personal gear along. Fuel and special dried food rations bought or stored on the Falklands was to be loaded too.
Well, we're underway.
The Klepnikov once was a full-duty icebreaker operating in the seas of northern Siberia, but is now converted to an Antarctic cruise ship, taking tourists around this fascinating continent. The Klepnikov measures 133 by 27 meters and can break through ice up to 3 meters thick. The chartering company had agreed to take the Peter I team along amongst its tourist passengers, but after landing the expeditioners on Peter I, the ship would continue its voyage. This means the team would be the first ever to stay on the island without any offshore support. The radio stations would be the only link to the civilized world, more than 1,000 miles away. During 1 week though, the expeditioners could still enjoy the luxury of an Antarctic cruise and take part in some landings to admire the fascinating scenery and wildlife of Antarctica, the big white continent.
First of all, before we begin, I would like to say to all of you, thank you very much.
Once again, would like to repeat what Ralph said. It is really exciting for us to be here. For Ralph it was 2 years of preparation. For me, I was a lucky one. It was only 6 months of preparation for this trip. This is a very exciting moment. Now we are very close to hitting Peter I. I hope the boat doesn't hit Peter I too hard.
The Captain Klebnikov arrived at Peter 1 on January the 29th. While the ship made its way through the pack ice, the fog cleared up and displayed the island in its full glory. An ice-covered mountain, its steep sides falling almost vertically into the surrounding ice sea. Everything looked favorable to land the team's 18 tons of equipment and 9 members on the glacier, formed on the flat north side of the island. This was the moment the expeditioners and the 10,000s of rage amateurs all over the world had waited for. The first landing since 1987. The second rage amateur activity ever. This was a magical moment for all to enjoy. Thanks to the skillful helicopter pilots, all cargo and people were safely put ashore in less than 4 hours' time. There they stood, amongst 150 crates, 9 people alone in the world's most isolated island, in the breathtaking scenery, 500 meters from the glacier's edge, the point where the ice breaks into the surrounding waters 40 meters below. Now the real work started. The team put up the sleeping and kitchen shelters, 2 radio tents, installed 5 radio operating positions and a meteorological observation post, and raised 9 antennas. But the weather was favorable, with almost no wind and temperatures climbing irregularly above freezing point.
String works great. You can see it in the snow.
And at last, after 4 days and 4 nights, the last antennas were erected in the late freezing night of February the 1st. The base camp was ready for the real work to begin. In the coming 16 days, the Peter I expedition team would make worldwide amateur radio transmissions, 24 hours a day, attempting to break the world record of 52,000 contacts, using the call sign 3 Yankee 0 Papa India. The second part of their mission was to make continuous weather observations and to collect rock samples for later analysis.
QRZ 3Y0 Papa India, listening 200 210. Ending Charlie 59. Ending America 59. Radio Zulu 9 United America 59. Spasiba, Dr. Diane. X-ray Echo 1 Oscar 59. Okay, you're drifting. Ending Charlie, your call sign again, over. Okay, Hotel Charlie 1, Hotel Charlie 59, QSL. Tokyo 50, signal away. Okay, Hotel Oscar Hotel 6, Japan Delta, QSL.
why it's hard to copy Europe tonight.
We drop my drawers.
No, and then you turn around.
Ta-da!
What's the matter?
See, Mom?
Unfortunately, after the initial quiet weather, from the 4th day on the camp was hit by storm after storm. Temperatures varied between +11 and -15 centigrade, with frequent blizzards dropping the chill factor down to -60 degrees centigrade and chasing drift snow up to 4 meters high. From now on, it was a continuous battle against nature. While the sturdy shelters resisted the beating by gust winds up to 120 kilometers per hour, the dust snow covered all equipment.
Okay, we're down to it.
The dust snow was a particular problem for the generators, which had to be dug out of the snow every half an hour. A tedious but important job, which had to be done in the freezing cold blazing wind, often with no visibility at all. For the radio operators, there was nothing like a daily routine. If you were not sleeping or operating the radios, you were digging out equipment from under the high snow drifts. But still everyone was in high spirits. Referring to the lack of opportunities to wash themselves properly, the team mottos became, looking good, but smelling bad.
Flight to your position, to your camp, over.
Roger, roger, Sergei. We have a landing area for your helicopter. We will be watching. Thank you.
3 weeks after they set foot on Peter 1, the academic Fedorov, the pickup ship, was approaching the island. The exhausting effort began to dig antennas, tents and crates from under the snow.
Roger, Sergei. We have 4 small flags for landing on the west of our camp, west side of our camp. Over.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. Bye-bye.
attempting to remove the child-resistant tape. He is now trying to
He's
figure
now
out which
eating
end
it.
to pull. He's now going to do something weird. He's shooting it upside down. Bugman. Trashman. Peter.
Our camp. Over.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What's he want to know now?
Helicopters are coming in 10 to 12 minutes.
Once again, the weather turned bad, and with all material stacked near the improvised helicopter landing site, the expeditioners spent 4 days and 4 nights waiting for the dense fog to clear up. It was a boring time, with 9 people, food boxes, heaters and kitchen gear crammed into the last remaining shelter, waiting for the helicopter to come in. It was a glorious sight to see the first Mil-8 helicopter diving in between the low clouds. In 6 flights, all was evacuated, although the helicopter crew was hesitant to take their human waste, collected in plastic bags. The team insisted, "Shit no go, we no go." At 2200 GMT on the evening of February the 20th, the helicopter took the last people off Peter 1. They were proud to have left the island as they found it, maybe one of the last unspoiled parts of the world. Only the traces in the snow of where they put up camp and lived for 22 days were witnesses of their expedition. Now, there was only one more goal to achieve: get back home.
It's hidden down there someplace. Oh, it's only about 8 feet down.
For 3 days, the team enjoyed the luxury of good meals, soft beds, and especially long showers aboard the academic Fedorov. This Russian ship is the largest Antarctic research vessel, sailing around the wide continent, supplying cargo, dropping or picking up scientists from the different bases.
It's one type of transportation we haven't had this trip.
That's right. Well, we had the Zodiac.
That's true.
The team chose to get off at King George Island in the South Shetlands, the northern part of Antarctica, where a chartered Hercules plane from the Uruguayan Air Force would pick up people and personal gear and fly them to Punta Arenas in southern Chile. Once again, the weather did not cooperate. Heavy fog delayed the helicopter landing on King George for 2 days. And the team spent 4 more days waiting at the Russian von Bellingshausen base for better weather so that the Hercules could fly in. Finally, on February the 26th, the expeditioners, calling themselves the Triopes, referring to their Peter I radio amateur call sign, got news that the Hercules was on its way in. Lacking sufficient cash to pay for the plane tickets back to civilization, the team had to sell its valuable shelters. At last, after a 2 months adventure, 9 people who had traveled over 5 continents, through 12 countries, covering close to 50,000 kilometers, using 15 different types of transportation, flew back to their homes. "70,000 radio contacts, of which 62,000 on Peter I, a new world record, and valuable scientific experiments, had turned this daring adventure into a success." This was a story of 9 men and their island, Peter I.
All I know is the way I feel. When it's real, I keep it alive. The road is long. There are mountains in our way, but we climb every day. Love lift us up where we belong, where the eagles cry on a mountain high. Love lift us up where we belong, far from the world below, up where the clear winds blow. their lives looking behind.